You wearing my shirt? Wear your shirt. Look at
Hey,
that.
look at
I love when
that.
that happens. I was wearing my doing laundry today shirt before this. And I was like, oh shit. That's why I said 2 seconds. I ran upstairs. I was like, oh, I should put on her shirt since I'm changing shirts. I
I
love
love
that.
it.
That's shots. Right. So we're here to talk about the pet peeves. Do you want to start with our pet peeves or do you want to finish with our pet peeves?
Uh,
Like
let's
yours and
finish
mine.
with ours. Yeah,
All right,
let's finish
awesome.
with
So
ours.
I could get canceled at the very end of it instead of at the beginning.
We'll make it through the
So
whole podcast before we get canceled.
fuck it. I mean, I was thinking of mine too. This is so annoying. So when I say it's gonna be funny. So I sent over a screenshot of a bunch of the pet peeves. I'm like, well, let's not go over all of them, but like let's pick out some good ones. Do you have your
Yeah,
phone like by you?
I
Did you
do.
like read through them at all?
I read through them. I didn't like pick out any specific ones, but I'm sure
Uh,
I'll be inspired as we talk through that.
all right, we'll do that for sure. I want to start off with like the pet peeve thing is supposed to be like, like fun, just a funny thing. If you guys out there don't know, my Instagram especially is just for the jokes, the vibes of the jokes, with a little bit of weightlifting coaching mixed in there. And then I drop it and I'm always like interested to see what the first one's gonna be. I'm like, oh, what kind of energy are people gonna start off with today? The first one that I saw, and we're not going to expose anyone who did, well, maybe one person might expose. The first one that I saw, it says married people cheating. I was like, I think that's past what a pet peeve is supposed to be, people out there. Whatever situation happened to this person that got them peeved about this on a Wednesday morning at like 9:27. Oh, bro,
In
stay
Taylor
away from that
Williams'
situation.
Instagram story.
Right? I'm like, damn. Is there a we should set this for the future. Is there like a anger meter? Like is pet peeve in the middle? Is it the very beginning of I think annoyed is
Ooh.
is below pet
Yeah,
peeve.
annoyed is like the start. And then when it gets past annoying, I would say that's when it becomes a pet peeve. And then I think past pet peeve is like maybe frustration and then anger.
Hmm. Yeah. And then at the top for me is super pissed off, never even look at me again. All right.
Like just straight up hostility.
Straight up the hostileness is coming at you. That's like if I'm doing a workout and you're telling me that I'm moving slow, hostile coming at you. One time, bro, freaking Gordy from KOP, I said something after the workout, like, oh man, I was feeling winded or something like that. And he goes, I can tell. It's like, damn, bro. All right. Oh my God.
Hashtag
So next up,
exposed.
literally. So next up, they went like I don't know, not the opposite, but they went a different route. Someone said people who are unwilling to effectively communicate to solve a minor disagreement. I was like, okay, someone really has you peeved with that one there. I really
Yeah,
didn't know how to
yeah. I
respond.
mean, that's a big one for me too. I'm all about communication. I probably overly communicate, and that
Hell yeah.
probably is a pet peeve for people.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
But you gotta talk through shit because if you don't talk through shit, you never know what's going on in the other person's head.
Yeah. I totally hear that. And then this is another funny one. Office toilet paper. Shit, pun intended, is rough. It doesn't clean anything. And my response to this one, another part of this, the pet peeve thing, I try to have a funny response. If I don't have a funny response, it was like your pet peeve was like a little too serious for me. My response was bring your own wet wipes. And this person said, I do. I was like, oh my God. Do you have like
Oh.
any weird travel stuff you bring that you're like, all right, I need to have this because I don't know what they're gonna have at this place?
Um, so for the past 2 years after semifinals, because semifinals has been in Southern California, my sister lives in North Hollywood, and me and my mom and my sister will go to Disneyland like the a day or two after semifinals is over. And
Yeah.
my sister always brings wet wipes.
Hey, there we go. See, BYOWW, bring your own wet wipes. We learned today that that is a essential traveling thing. That sounds like a Julia thing. She's a overpacker and a prepper person.
Honestly, when I pack for that kind of stuff, the only things I'm concerned about are like food and supplements.
Yeah, yeah. Athlete life. I'm just on the move. Here's a good one. Speaking of that, when folks want to be the number police when it's time to board, hashtag flying Southwest, like the group thing. Like I actually saw the other day someone asking like a flight attendant, no, the gate person, do you guys know what group and number we're in? And they're like, yes, we totally know. We can totally tell when you're checking there. Um,
It's funny to me is so Southwest, I kind of get it because like the people who pay for like the earlier groups, they're paying to make sure that they get to pick the seat they want. I get that.
right.
But when you're on a flight with assigned seats and people get annoyed that like
It doesn't matter.
the numbers are out of order, I'm like, you're gonna end up in your seat regardless of when you board this plane.
Right,
It's
right.
okay,
Like
calm down.
relax, relax. So speaking of that, do you have any big traveling pet peeves, like especially flying?
Um, I mean, I feel like the first one that probably comes to most people's minds is like when people take their shoes off on the plane. That's just
Oh,
gross. Nobody
oh,
needs that.
yeah, no, for sure. I hate people get too comfortable anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
Keep your shoes on
Um,
the plane, people.
I think the other annoying one is people who don't use headphones.
Oh,
And I've seen flight attendants tell people that they need to use headphones or turn their sound off, and they'll start arguing with the flight attendant. And like
oh,
they'll even offer them headphones because like a lot of times airplanes will have free headphones to give out to people who need them. And like the people won't take the headphones and they just want to play whatever music or movie or whatever they're watching for the whole plane to hear. I'm like, what? Why are you so against headphones? It's common
bro,
courtesy. Everybody should know this.
that is not a pet peeve. That's the fear. That's the full hostile and furiousness. Not just on a plane. If you are playing your music or anything off your phone out loud, out in public, I, Taylor Williams, hate you. I truly hate you. But a pet peeve, a little bit less on the anger scale there. If you are arguing with someone that's just doing their job, like waiters, people, flight attendants, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you are some of the worst kind of people out there in life, you know?
Just being rude to anybody in the service industry is it it makes me angry. It's beyond a pet peeve. It makes me angry.
Bro, they're working. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Literally a job. This is a good one. No, actually, before that one, here's another like service industry one: doctor's office, healthcare receptionist. And like, I feel like when I was a little kid, they were the nicest little old ladies in the world. And now these are the most frustrated people that I've ever come across in all of life. Like, bro, I'm 5 minutes late and you're going to charge me $100 for like a late fee or something like that. But if I come on time, you're going to make me sit for 25 minutes and then give me attitude. Like, bro,
Yep.
come on.
Yeah.
I
But
think
I
that's
feel like
fantastic.
they got that way because they deal with people who are assholes to them all the time. And now they're just completely jaded.
Whatever. One, when people say I'm not in shape enough to do CrossFit, stop it. That's just a good message. It's not a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do
Yeah.
CrossFit to get in shape. So, you know,
And I get sad when I hear people say that because it just like okay, so sad and also excited because it's sad that people have this misconception of CrossFit that you have to be fit to start. But then I get
yeah,
excited that I get to explain to them what CrossFit actually is and what it can do for them, and the fact that it's infinitely scalable. We can modify anything for any activity level, injury, you know, literally anything and anyone can do CrossFit. And when you're able to get that message across to people, that's really cool.
yeah, for sure. And if you want to see the perfect example of that, guys, just go back to episode probably 20 or something like that, where Aaliyah was first on the podcast. And we talk about her just getting into CrossFit. And you see how you don't have to be an elite level athlete to start, but you can't become an elite
No,
level athlete unless you start. Boom.
fact,
Look at that.
fact. You can start 50 pounds overweight,
Yeah.
hating exercise, and then 3 time semifinals. Here we are.
Hell yeah. There you go. Look at us. We're doing the promotion for CrossFit right now. Crushing it.
Hashtag
Um,
CrossFit Media Team.
Hashtag CrossFit Media Team. Man, dude, we were so right. We were talking about how like one of the biggest things that people come at CrossFit for is that like they don't have a media team, like a designated one. And then Dave Castro just shows up and then just does it like better than everyone else. I'm like, damn it, I can't even have athlete interviews anymore because fucking Castro's doing it with the best athletes and getting the stories that we all want to hear. Oh my god, super
There's
super
plenty
freaking
of
annoying.
other stories out there that people want to hear though. It's
That's
and
true.
his things are only 5 to 10 minutes long. Well,
Yeah.
most of them. There's still a lot of space for third party athlete interviews, media. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw I think it was Haley, and we were talking about it. He said that he's going to continue doing it. He's like, oh, I'm going to do affiliate owners and like all these different people. I'm like, Castro, you're the worst, bro. Exactly. There's a lot of grammar ones. People are always on the grammar police
Yeah.
pet peeve. Are you a grammar police? Are you a grammar officer, Officer Aaliyah?
I get frustrated when I see like big businesses, like professional entities that can't produce content that's grammatically correct.
Oh
Like if you
man.
see a grammatical error on a billboard or like in a flyer or on a business card on a company's website, I'm like, like, is this what we've come to? Kids just aren't reading enough because they're online too much, and now nobody knows how to spell or how to use proper grammar. Is that where we're at now? And I
That's
I feel like
hilarious.
part of it is because people don't make an effort to do things correctly on social media, and most of the content that kids are consuming nowadays is social media, so they're just
True.
like reinforcing bad grammar, bad spelling, all that stuff. It's definitely more than a pet peeve for me. That's like straight up frustration.
I hear that. Rogue out there, get your commas right. Because if you don't, I'm not buying your t-shirts anymore. All right, Rogue, get it together. Um, and part two to actually the opposite of that, I will say that I also hate it when people on social media they try to be overly polished, like brands that try to connect with people, by being like down to earth, but then it comes off as overly polished. I hate that. Like
Yeah.
get someone in there that's like youthful that can help you with your captions and stuff.
Okay, speaking of, do you follow Bub's Naturals?
No, what's that?
It's they make supplements, they're like coffee, collagen, stuff like that. Um so this guy Nate runs the social media for Bub's Naturals, and it is one of the best social media I have ever seen for a business. He's
It's
so
unhinged.
funny, unhinged, and he just like hops on whatever is funny at the time. Like,
Oh
have
man,
you seen the videos where it's like it'll show a clip of somebody doing like a somersault or getting kicked in the back or something like that, and then it like clips to the
cut something
person like
else. Yeah,
jumping or finishing the somersault, whatever it is. He did one of those the other day. It was so funny. Like I just I can't I can't explain. I don't even know how he does it because every time he posts something, I'm like, I never would have thought of that, but that's hysterical.
right. Oh man, I love when people like have just like their finger on the pulse like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another good person like Ariel Lowen's good at that. A random one,
Yes.
Wendy's is like has like a hilarious social media presence. I don't know if you've ever seen like their comments and stuff like that, or like
I think I've
the
seen some
big
of their Twitter stuff.
yeah, it's hilarious. That and like beef jerky, like Slim Jim, they
Slim
have another
Jim.
hilarious. They're
Slim Jim is
hilarious.
so funny.
They're everywhere, dude. I'm like,
You
damn,
know who's
who
also
started
really
this
good?
account? Who?
TSA.
Oh my.
The
Oh yes, I've
TSA
seen TSA.
Instagram,
Yeah.
they're so good.
Yeah. Amy used to love TSA, so I've seen a lot of them. They really have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah, they do.
Here we go. We made it to an Ellia Miller pet peeve. Habitual lateness. I hate this. Like
Yeah.
when you're like I don't want to really call out people that are coming across your class because like they're coming in after their day is over, so I get that. But like when you're habitual, if you're 1 minute late every day or 2 minutes late every day, it's like, bro, how could you not have avoided this? Like,
So I wasn't necessarily saying it about people coming to class because as frustrating as it can be a coach and have people coming in late, I understand that like, hey, if our last class of the day is 5:30, and if you get off work at 5 and it's like if I hit any traffic, I'm not going to make it by 5:30, or if anything, like if I get stopped by anyone on the way out of work, I'm not going to make it by 5:30. But that's the only time they can make it to the gym. I'm just happy they're there. Even if they're late,
right,
I'm happy they're there. Um I was saying this one more in the sense of like if you make plans with someone and that person is always late,
Hate it.
Like, get your shit together.
Yeah, especially if you're supposed like if you're like if you give a time,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I hate it. I hate it.
Like, no matter what time of day, no matter where you're going, what you're doing, they're just always late. And I feel like part of that is just the army drilled into me that if you're not early, you're late.
Facts.
And so I feel like I'm always trying to be early places. I also had a mom growing up that was like, oh, the place is 10 minutes away and we're supposed to be there at 2, so let's leave at 12 in case there's traffic.
Literally, that's me. It's on my brain though too. And I'm just I attribute it to anxiety, but that's exactly me. I'm like sitting there ready.
Um, I have to mention one. I don't actually know what it means, but I'm gonna make up my own meaning for it. It
Let's
says
go.
when people say EM isn't goat status, and the only EM I know is Ellia Miller, so hell yeah, I'm goat status.
Let's go. That's so much better than the person it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Eminem. And I'm like, bro, he's up there, but I mean, Aaliyah Miller is still going. You know, in my personal opinion, Eminem should have retired 10 years ago. That's when he was, truly, truly great. Rich Froning did a stay in the CrossFit Games when he was coming in second in individual. He got out on
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
do I do like Eminem's new stuff
I
though.
love, oh, I mean, I don't listen to it. I don't,
I don't like it as
I don't
much as
listen
his
to much.
old stuff, but I still
Yeah.
like it.
To be honest, I don't listen to much music anymore anyway. Like the music I listen to is like background stuff. And like Eminem's not a background artist to me, so I just don't, like actually even take that in there. That was a good one too. Someone confronted me about that one too after. So people out there listening know that I do get confronted about the pet peeves and my responses to them in real life. So just take that in there. This is two good ones here. Do I want to go on the last page? No. Two good ones here. People talking your ear off, not realizing you're uninterested in a conversation. I love that, and it's one of my skills to get out of that situation. I will just walk away from you. I have no, and I won't do it in a rude. But I usually don't do it to people that I like know have some sort of like back and forth with. But like, bro, people should that know me. They should know like, all right, this is something that he really cares about. Do you have a tactic to deal with people that just are talking your ear off?
Sometimes I'll try to like come up with an out of like, oh, I gotta go do this now or something like that. Or I
Gotta
just,
go do 1,000 step ups. Sorry,
yeah,
bro.
sorry, I gotta go do Chad.
Yeah.
Um, I always like the things that people come up with where they're like, oh, sorry, I have to vacuum my driveway, or
Gotta
I
walk
have
my
to walk my
cat.
pet goldfish.
Yeah.
Those are always really funny.
Oh man. Then there's always the classic one, people. Someone just said people. That's my pet peeve.
Just
It's
people.
like, well, I feel that. People can definitely
Some
peeve me
days I
off.
feel that.
It's terrible.
Um, I have one when the bolts of the ollie plates face outward on my barbell.
Shout out to Sean Fantuzzi. That was super deep ADHD. And I'm pretty sure they're supposed to face, what did he said, out? Are they supposed
Yeah.
to face in or outwards? Inwards, right? The middle
Okay, so
plates.
I don't actually care if they face out or in. They just have to be the same on both sides. Otherwise,
Yeah,
my ADHD goes crazy and I can't handle it. Like,
same.
if it's two different plates,
Yeah,
I struggle to even lift the bar.
right. And I'll work with a bunch of like, new people too, especially at a CrossFit gym, and they'll throw whatever on the barbell, like
Yeah.
any kind of different branded plates, and they'll even go so far as to do like a 25 on one side, a 10 and 15 on the other side, and I'm like, dude, I wish I could tell you right now how terrible you look to me without sounding pretentious, but I can't, so I'm just gonna let it go, you know. But I
So,
mean, like in an Olympic weightlifting meet or like the CrossFit Games, like the bolts, the innermost plates, the bolts go on the inside, right? So that you can tighten them just in case it gets loose. That's what I think it's actually for.
oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
Yeah, because it would get loose around the collar so you can tighten it there. And
Okay.
then you put the smooth sided ones on the outside of the plates because for pitchers and stuff like that at these big events.
Yeah.
And
I feel
so
like
that the
I feel
other
like pictures
companies
do
can put
always
the logo
have,
on.
yeah, I feel like pictures always do have the smooth side out and the bolts facing in, like at the games and stuff, right?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. That's what you know what's funny? I Googled after that. I'm exposing myself right now. I Googled after that, like Olympic lifting plates at competition, like all those words, and a picture of CrossFit Games popped up, and there was the bolts inside. I had to like really zoom into the picture to make sure I could see. But yeah, that's what I would assume because you could tighten those bad boys so that the center disc stays tight. Um,
That makes
yeah, I like
sense.
that one from Sean. That was Sean's first pet peeve. There you go. Shout out to you, Sean.
Hey,
Um, then another one after the people talking your ear off, dating apps. I feel like they could have just left it there. They were talking about opening one-liners and stuff, but I mean, it one of the hardest things you could do is cold call somebody. And like when you're on dating apps, it's essentially a cold call. So like I get why that could be super hard. I'm gonna flip it on its head and ladies and everyone out there really like have something in your profile that someone could make a comment about.
yeah,
Don't make them have to pull it out of thin air, because then that just leads to terribleness for everybody. Um,
I think
this one,
the
this one, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I think the funniest pickup line that I ever heard that actually, I hate to say it, worked on me.
Yes, let's go. Now we got the content. Here we go.
Talking to this guy, and we're talking about like walking somewhere, and he goes, "Do you like chicken?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he puts his hand on his hip and puts his elbow out, and he goes, "Grab a wing."
Oh my god! Did you laughed at the moment?
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
I laughed, and then I grabbed his arm, and we walked.
That's fun. I mean, it's funny. It's definitely
It
funny.
was
It's
awkward.
really, really corny. But he did that. He. That's a good one. I wonder if he had that like in his back pocket or like how when he came up with it.
Oh, I'm sure he had used it before, heard it before, or something.
That's in his
Yeah.
Google search history from 3 years before that date. That's good. This one, I really like this one. I can't believe no one ever said this before. Stepping on a wet floor in my socks. Like,
The worst.
how people say they hate the word moist. I think it
Yeah.
really relates back to this specific scenario because I can't really think of many other things that actually get moist outside of like your wet sock where you just barely touch it to a wet floor. It's the worst feeling in the world. Like
And
even
then,
wet shoe.
yeah, so I part of it for me is beyond just having a wet sock, having only one foot that has a
Ugh,
wet sock is even
ugh.
worse.
That's just terrible. Like nightmare territory right there.
I hate it.
Absolute nightmare. All right, so that's most of the peeves. Now I'm gonna hit you with my pet peeve that I thought about yesterday driving home. My pet peeve is that there is a company, a brand, I don't know what to call them out there, a conglomerate of people, most likely, that it wasn't good enough for them to run one terrible competition a year. They have decided to run two and take it to the West Coast.
You were really
And
trying to
like,
get canceled. Holy shit, Taylor.
I mean, like, I'm not sorry. I was
I
gonna
didn't
say I'm
know this is
sorry.
where we were going.
I'm not sorry, but that's just my pet peeve. Like, what made you think? What not what made you think? Because the metrics and people come into the competition every year. But
Yeah.
like, are you gonna fix any of the things that people complain about?
So what amazes me is there's so many issues and so many things that people complain about, but there's also like a massive community that thinks everything they do is perfect and loves all of it and eats all of it up, loves every second of it, no complaints about anything. And those are the ones that keep going back and keep them running the way that they're running.
I mean,
It's
because
insane.
what is better than a pitcher on a competition floor with the Miami sun behind you? I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to argue with that. So, like, that's why I said I get it, but like, are you gonna fix any of the things that people
Yeah.
have gripes with? Like,
It's also it's also hard because like so me personally, I have been very frustrated there and I've said that I'm not going to go back and then I end up going back partially because it's like
it's
everybody I
that
know is
time
going
of
to
the
be there.
year.
And
Yeah.
I miss my friends and I want that, like, quote unquote family reunion at the competition. And I want to see everybody and I want to be involved in all the exciting, fun things that are happening. And it's like, do I put up with maybe less than ideal competition conditions to be there? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's I've heard that story so many times. Like it
Yeah.
sucks to say, but that's just kind of how it is. I mean, after seeing someone like multiple people like face plant because they don't have room on the competition floor and they're trying to sprint to a side, like it's just
Yeah.
you're gonna make two of these. Okay, got it, got it.
I think one of the craziest things that they do all the time, I think they've done it every year, a max lift on a floor that's not level.
Yeah, love it. And
Literally
then
blocks holding your barbell from rolling back.
that's wild. Wow.
And we're maxing
But
out
that
a clean or a snatch or overhead squat, whatever.
And we're not talking about the people that are freaking coming to the brawl in the burbs, like where I only need to put out like 300 pounds of plates out there. Like, no, there's gonna be 400-pound like jerks happening and
Yeah.
snatches,
Yeah.
nuts. But anyway, tell us your peeve. Hopefully, it's less traumatic than that.
I don't think this one will get me as canceled as bad as yours. Mine is fake niceness. Like I am all for nice humans. I consider myself to be a nice human, but when you project this like fake niceness on social media and then
Oh,
in person you're just a bitter asshole or a bitch or whatever, it makes me
hate it.
so mad. Like you do not and I guess it boils down to anybody who tries to create a persona online that's not them.
Hmm.
Like just be yourself. Why is it such a bad thing to be yourself online? People freak out about it. I'm like, there's nothing that people will connect with better than you being authentic.
Yeah.
And I just get really frustrated when I see fake personalities on social media.
Yeah, for sure. Be you. And well, I know we live in the age of like selling a personality, but like pick a better one or one that's more true to you out there,
Yeah.
everyone. All right, this is a lot of fun. Talking about people's pet peeves, man. Get to do something with all the content every week now. Maybe we'll do another one of these. Um,
Hell yeah.
we're gonna get out of here now, dogs. I'm gonna end the recording. Peace.